Want me to read?
Oh, no, Miss Joyce got it, and then
Okay.
you'll be ready for the second one. Thanks.
Got
And
you.
Does not wisdom cry out and understanding lift
Peter,
her voice?
Oh, no, Miss Joyce
She
got
takes her stand on the top
You'll
of
be
the
ready for
high
the second
hill,
one. Thanks.
got you.
beside the way where the path does not wisdom. She cries out by the gates at the entry of the city.
It is the morning of my life again, and the all I do is rise, no matter what. That greatness on my mind, I'm never giving up. And every time I step up in the game, I level up. Everybody's hands go up and they stay there. Down, down, 'cause all I do is rise. Rise. And if you really put your hands to the sky, woke up with a purpose. My vision is clear. Vision is clear. Woke up with a purpose. Yo, listen up. It's just all I do is rise, no matter what. Got greatness on my mind. Woke up with a purpose. My vision is clear. No fear in my heart. I'm shifting the gears. Success is my language. I'm fluent in grind. Every setback's a setup for me to shine. Language. I'm fluent in grind. Every woke up with a purpose. My vision is clear. No fear in my heart. I'm shifting the gears. Success is my language. I'm fluent in grind. Every setback's a setup for me to shine. Pressure makes diamonds. I'm proof that it's true. Hard work and faith, yeah, that's what I do. Failure's behind me. Focus ahead. Every step I take, I'm breaking my bread. Do is rise, no matter what. That bring us up. And every time I step, everybody's hands go up and they stay down, up, down. 'Cause all I do is rise, rise. And if you with me, put your hands to the sky. They said we couldn't do it, but look at me now, standing tall, unshaken, wearing the crown. Dreams don't work unless you do, that's the code. So I hustle through the rain, yeah, I carry the load. Champions are built through the sweat, through the struggle. Fine, but still I keep going. My eyes on the prize, those mirrors keep winning, and all I do is There's no boundaries, I'm breaking the chains. Every loss is a lesson, every fall brings a gain. I'm built for this, my spirit is tough. When the road gets hard, to it, my skin, I don't got greatest. Everybody's hands go down, down, to his rise. Can you put your hands to the sky? So, when your destiny takes my so, victory, I do is rise every single time. Destiny way. Let me begin, it's not until the victory is mine. Please put your hands to the sky. Day is where we begin. It's not over till the victory's mine. And all I do is rise every single time. All I do is rise, 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 no matter what. That greatness on my line, I'm never giving up. And every time I step up in the game, I love. Everybody's hands go up and they stay there. Down, down, cause all I do is rise. Rise. And if you really put your hands to the sky. Woke up with a purpose, my vision is clear, no fear in my heart, I'm shifting the gears. Success is my language, I'm fluent in grind. Every setback's a setup for me to shine. Pressure makes diamonds, I'm proof that it's true. Hard work and faith, yeah, that's what I do. Failure's behind me, focus ahead. Every step I take, I'm breaking my do is rise, no matter what. That bring us up, and every time I step, everybody's hands go up. Cause all I do is rise. And if you're with me, put your hands to the sky. They said we couldn't do it, but look at me now, standing tall, unshaken, wearing the crown. Dreams don't work unless you do, that's the code. So I hustle through the rain, yeah, I carry the load. Champions are built through the sweat, through the struggle, through the odds. Find my story, keep going. Eyes on the prize, those minutes keep going. There's no boundaries, I'm breaking the chains. Every loss is a lesson, every fall brings a gain. I'm built for this, my spirit is tough. When the road gets hard, do it. Got greatest everybody's hands go down, down, to where's your eyes. Can you do it? Put your hands to the sky. So, destiny away. So, to victory. I do is rise every single time. Destiny away. Let me begin, it's now. Let's see the victory's mine. Please put your hands to the sky. Day is where we begin. It's not over till the victory's mine. And all I do is rise every single time. Winners keep winning, and all I do is rise. No limits, no boundaries. I'm breaking the chains. Every loss is a lesson, every fall is a gain. I'm built for this. My spirit is tough. When the road gets hard, I still rise. Do is rise, no matter what. Got greatness on my mind, I'm never giving up. And every time I step up in the game, I level up. Everybody's hands go up, and they stay down. Cause all I do is rise, rise. And if you're with me, put your hands to the sky. Don't rise with me. We're destined to win. Every new day is where we begin. It's not over till the victory's mine. And all I do is rise every single time. Winners keep winning, and all I do is rise. No limits, no boundaries. I'm breaking the chains. Every loss is a lesson, every fall is a gain. I'm built for this. My spirit is tough. When the road gets hard, I still rise. All I do is rise, no matter what. I got greatness on my mind. I'm never giving up. And every time I step up in the game, I level up. Everybody's hands go up, and they stay down. Cause all I do is rise. And if you're with me, put your hands to the sky. Don't you rise with me. We're destined to win. Every new day is where we begin. It's not over till the victory's mine. And all I do is rise every single time. Winners keep winning, and all I do is rise. No limits, no boundaries. I'm breaking the chains. Every loss is a lesson, every fall is a gain.
Okay, so AJ Brown joined a Commander fan stream to explain him fighting with Marshawn Lattimore. Meanwhile, I just heard the worst possible national media take for Super Bowl 59. It's absolutely ridiculous. But that's not all. The New Orleans Saints flew into Philadelphia to talk to Kellen Moore in person. Plus, Adam Schefter gives us an update on Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson. So much to unpack, including a heart to heart with CJ Garner Johnson and Nick Sirianni. But first, listen to AJ Brown welcome some young Eagles to the Super Bowl. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast, home of the Super Bowl bound Eagles. If you rock with the content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. Well, Eagle Nation, it's only been a couple of days since we dropped 55 points in the NFC Championship, and Colin Cowherd thinks we're not even going to touch the red zone versus the Chiefs.
When the Eagles run it in the Super Bowl, Chiefs ain't gonna be able to stop it. Just because they stop Buffalo, they're not gonna be able to stop this. But maybe not get into the red zone. The Eagles might not get into the red zone. Seriously? I think Kansas City's defense, we now have to be honest. Lockdown corner, dominant defensive line, multiple edge defenders, hyper athletic linebackers. I don't think people are giving Kansas City's defense the credit.
Really? That to me just sounded like he was describing the Philadelphia Eagles defense, not the Kansas City Chiefs, which I do think is good, but it's not the Eagles. And even still, if you wanted to hype up the Chiefs defense, why would you be saying a team that just scored 55 points in a championship game won't even get to the red zone? Knock it off. I can't wait to brotherly shove our way to a Super Bowl win because I know people hate that play and will always look to try to discredit Jalen Hurts, although this is how it started, and now this is how it's going. Two Super Bowl appearances in 3 years with a chance to win. Look at the list of quarterbacks to reach two Super Bowls in their first 5 years. Aikman, Brady, Elway, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes, Roethlisberger, Kurt Warner, Russell Wilson. What a great list to be on. And look at this comparison. Quarterback starts without an interception, longest streak in the playoffs, 22 to 2024. Jalen has 7 straight games without an INT. Mahomes in 22-23 had 6. So again, the question might be time to give Jalen his respect. Some will, but most will probably wait until he wins the Lombardi. No matter what list you put up, last 3 seasons, including playoffs, the numbers look similar. And this is with the almighty Patrick Mahomes, who once again will be playing Jalen Hurts for the second time in 3 years. As for the Commanders, they really thought that they could compete with the Eagles when they beat us back in week 16 without Jalen Hurts. This was their locker room.
Everybody in the spot. Collective and mindset, it did take everybody.
Well, them so-called heavy hitters might have beat some teams, but got beat 55 to 23 versus the Eagles. And as good as the Eagles' offense was, the defense balled. One thing that the Commanders did versus the Lions and a lot of teams was run quick game, and we shut it down. And although the game is over, it's important because the Kansas City Chiefs run a lot of quick game too. Listen to Brian Baldinger break it down.
Let's watch the Eagles attack the Commanders' quick game. You got a wide trip set right here, and here they come. Find these little inches, Queen Mitchell cleans it up. It's a consistent theme to everything they do. Watch Cooper DeJean right here. You got a wide bunch formation. Like attack the bunch, step up and clean it up. It's play to play. You watch this 2-point conversion right here. No free releases, no free lunches, no easy releases. You want to throw this right here? Dawson, here comes Quinn. Right? They attack the quick game. Right? Something to look for in the Super Bowl right here. You can see a little Austin Eckler right here. Attack the quick game. Not let it get started. Step up and clean it up. You back up, you give it up. Same how the Eagles play. They step up and clean it up.
This Eagles defense under Fangio is going to be ready for Andy Reid's quick game. As for some of the chippiness versus the Commanders in the NFC Championship, listen to AJ Brown go on Rondo's stream and explain what happened. Shout out to bro.
And then like the game, bro, like once time ago, I listen. First of all, you want to talk about it? Yeah, he didn't give it to me first. Yeah, he didn't give it to me first. So he was like, young dog. So when I was like his head off, yeah, I just stopped, bro. I just stopped. Like I put my hands out because I'm still playing football. I'm not out there to fight, but I will fight if you will go there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just trying to play football and my hands out, and the ref trying to like stop it. And he kept going, so that's probably why he got it. But it was 50, bro. But that's the football I'm playing on. Like guys close all the time. Though, like you know what I'm saying? But I just stopped when they said stop, and he ain't stopped.
Rondo is a funny dude. I don't watch all his content. He's a Commander fan, but when he drops Eagle reactions, it's hilarious. He be going on and on, good, bad, ugly, sad. But shout out to him for having AJ on after that loss. Speaking of AJ Brown, we talked yesterday a little bit about that block he did, but listen to Baldy break it down from a different angle.
Let's watch AJ Brown on the first play of the game. Saquon. This is a down block right here. All right, now watch him. He moves his feet here and creates this chain reaction where Dante Fowler goes down and everybody else trips, and there goes Saquon into the alley. This is a difficult block for anybody. Now Saquon doesn't go 60 yards if you don't get this block done. Okay? So you watch this from another angle right here, and here he is. He's looking in. He's positioning himself. He's getting his feet right. He's the best blocking wide receiver in this whole league. And you watch this right here. Look at what it causes. Down goes Fowler. Bobby Wagner trips. All right? And that gets Saquon into the alley. Like it's stop blocking, it's angle blocking, it's downfield. He enjoys it. He's excellent at it. And Saquon doesn't put up almost 2,500 yards this year if it isn't for the blocking of AJ Brown.
Not many receivers block defensive ends. And again, we got to credit everybody, including Jeff Stoutland. I know Saquon gets all the credit because he be making people miss, running people over, doing things we never seen. But it's a total team effort. Moving on to the Kellen Moore news. A Saints beat writer tweeted this yesterday. The Saints are flying to Philadelphia tonight to interview Kellen Moore for the head coaching job, per sources. Now, again, he was already interviewed by the Saints virtually. I guess they like what they hear or like what they saw in the NFC Championship week because they elected to fly in yesterday to talk to Kellen Moore. This ain't that close to the Super Bowl, but it still reminds me of the Arizona Jonathan Gannon Super Bowl blunder. Did he talk with Arizona while we were out there in Arizona? I don't know. Hopefully, whatever gets done tonight is done because when we go to New Orleans, we need Kellen Moore focus because the level of focus he showed championship week is exactly what we needed in the Super Bowl. The ground game is always good between Kellen and Stoutland, but the air game was exactly what we needed from Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore. Quick timing passes, motion to show the defense's hand, quick, easy hitches. And then when Jalen got cooking, he went deep to AJ Brown. He went deep to Dallas Goedert. And then when the defense was afraid of the arm, he brought out the quarterback draw, which paid off. Saquon great blocking as Jalen walks in untouched. Switching over to our head coach, listen to what Big Play Slay said on this podcast about him being lit still and Nick Sirianni.
Man, I'm just so happy right now. Y'all understand. Y'all just don't understand the feeling I got right now, man. The feeling I got 4 years with Nick Sirianni. 2-time NFC Championship, 2-time Super Bowl.
Chapter 18, Jonathan and David, Soul Friends. By the time David had finished reporting to Saul, Jonathan was deeply impressed with David. An immediate bond was forged between them. He became totally committed to David. From that point on, he would be David's #1 advocate and friend. Saul received David into his own household that day, no more to return to the home of his father. Jonathan, out of his deep love for David, made a covenant with him. He formalized it with solemn gifts, his own royal robe and weapons, armor, sword, bow, and belt. Whatever Saul gave David to do, he did it, and did it well. So well that Saul put him in charge of his military operations. Everybody, both the people in general and Saul's servants, approved of and admired David's leadership. David. As they returned home, after David had killed the Philistine, the women poured out of all the villages of Israel singing and dancing, welcoming King Saul with tambourines, festive songs, and lutes. In playful frolic, the women sang, Saul killed by the 1,000, David by the 10,000. This made Saul angry, very angry. He took it as a personal.
Look at him and C.J. Gardner-Johnson on the sideline. This is a special moment. Shout out to Britt Lives on Twitter. She was the one who actually recorded that, and it's been shared by a lot of big media outlets. But Nick Sirianni absolutely loves his players, and the players, offense and defense, love Nick Sirianni. As for Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson, they get 2 weeks of rest. They're going to need it because I want both of them to play, but we at least need one. Listen to Schefter on the Pat McAfee show discuss it.
Well, Cam Jurgens came in and gutted it out and was able to play through a back injury that they didn't think he was going to be able to play with. They kept him there as an emergency center. He was used in an emergency when Landon Dickerson could barely walk out there. They need one of them for the Super Bowl. I would think that both of them will have a chance, a real chance to be out there with the extra week of work. If they play the Super Bowl in a short week, that might be a big problem, but I'm sure the extra week will do well for both guys and their chances of being back out there on Super Bowl Sunday. But that was a gritty effort by that Eagles line. It's been the strength of the team all year long. They make things happen. They continue to make things happen. And it just was, you're wondering, yes, I could, are they going to run out of bodies there? Because it was incredible to see. Jurgens initially, we thought he wasn't going to play. Then he's acting like he's active. But then he doesn't start. Dickerson started, and they put Palestine in the guard, which is what I think they were planning all along to do. And then Dickerson can't make it through, and Jurgens comes back in. Just it was pretty impressive to see what these guys fought through to play and win that game and play the way they did.
Yeah, I think Cam Jurgens came out and said, like, Sirianni, basically, there's not, yeah. He came out and gave a full quote at his locker, basically chit-chatting about the mindset of the team, how tight the team is, how close they are, how much of a family they are. So if you can play, you're going to play for your team. Yeah. And Sirianni doesn't do anything, is what everybody says. But then Cam Jurgens is like, well, we have such a family here, led by Sirianni. Is the only reason why I go out there and do that.
Well, Schefter is optimistic about both them playing, but you heard Pat McAfee. A lot of people saying Sirianni don't do nothing. Cameron Jurgens literally said he was able to play through the pain because of the love from Sirianni and his team. Man, I can't wait for 2 weeks. It's going to be a long but exciting 2 weeks. With all that being said, let me know all your thoughts in the comment section. I absolutely love hearing from y'all. Like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the videos. We'll be going live a couple times this week as well. Some good stuff coming up, including the jersey giveaway. Last but not least, muscle up. We out. Okay, so AJ Brown joined a Commander fan stream to explain him fighting with. Okay, so AJ Brown joined a Commander fan stream to explain him fighting with Marshawn Lattimore. Meanwhile, I just heard the worst possible national media tape for Super Bowl 59.
This is what they looked like then.
Hey, let's make America great again. America is a wicked country. All of it. There's a few righteous people, holy people, like it was in the days of Noah. The righteous came in ark, and the unrighteous was destroyed by the flood. So the thing that keep God Almighty from
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time today. We'll start with John, and then we'll. Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time today. We'll start with John, and then we'll go to Jeff.
Hey, good afternoon, Nate. Talking to AJ after the game, he was asked about, his emotions now that you start this sort of ramp up for the Super Bowl. Curious if you learned anything or one or two things from that first experience that maybe you can impart to the guys that are going to go through this for the first time.
Yeah, I think, obviously different things that go into the week. You have 2 weeks to prepare. Right? You have media obligations when you get there, and the game is a little different as far as the breaks that are taken in the game. And so I think at the end of the day, it does come back to what we've talked about all year, just controlling what you can control and being in the moment where you are. And I think when that is what you're conscious of and you're focused on through an entire year, it serves you well going into that. So it's gonna have to be the same stuff, just under some different circumstances as far as the way the game and the week lead up to it.
We'll go to Jeff, and then Brooks.
Are you changing anything specifically based off the experience for the first time?
Yeah, obviously you go through everything. I won't get into details there, Jeff, of what we're changing, but you go through after each week, you just talk about what you can do better and what you did well. That's a constant every Monday. That's what we did after 2022 as well. So we have notes that we're going through and that we've been going through, a couple tweaks here and there. What we'll do differently, a couple tweaks and a couple things that will stay the same. But of course, like anytime you go through any situation like that, you take notes like that, and you try to get better from each circumstance you go through.
We'll go to Brooks and Ed.
Hey Nick, will Brandon Graham be available for the Super Bowl?
We'll see. We'll see how that goes and how that plays out. I can't answer that question right now, but we'll see how the week works out and 2 weeks work out. We'll see.
We'll go to Ed and then Ruben.
Just to go back to that push play in the championship game when the Commanders got jumping all sides, players thought it was pretty funny. What was your reaction to that, and were you aware of the rule that existed that the official could award a touchdown?
Actually was. We had a coach that I was with that did game management with the Chargers snatch. I remember. I don't remember why we were talking about it. I remember us talking about it. And hey, they can award a touchdown in that moment like this. You know what? I do remember what we were talking about it with if you were on the one, not a lot of time left, the defensive back keep holding. Why not keep holding? Whatever everyone said. Should I don't remember quite. That's why I shouldn't even went in there. But I remember him telling me, if you do that enough times in a row, the referee can award him a touchdown. And I remember like saying the smash, and I'm like, that's not a rule. Like, out of your mind. Like I remember saying that to him, like that's not a rule. And I remember him being very emphatic with me because he knows the rules really well, and telling me it was. And I texted him after the game, like, Smash, you're right. And so we have talked about that since. So we did know that in that scenario because I remember saying I said to the referees on the side, hey, they keep doing this, it can be a touchdown, right? And they said, yeah, that's right. So it was funny though. I think it was funny. No, not really. Particularly, I just wanted our guys to be, obviously I was thinking about the safe and healthy health of our players.
Dave.
Hey, Dave, we've talked so much this year about turnovers and takeaways. Uh, Last 16 games since the bye week, you guys are plus 27, which is kind of an outrageous number. I guess the question is two-part question. How pivotal is that to your overall kind of what you guys do and how you win? How important is it? And you have 18 different guys that have takeaways, which is another crazy number. Um, so like anybody on the team can force a turnover at any point. How valuable is that? It's not just one, two, three guys. It's really everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, first, the players going out there and being able to do it is incredible because you're taking chances at times too of because we've tackled them too. I think sometimes you see in those scenarios that teams take chances there, but they don't make tackles. Well, we've been in the top 10 of missed tackle percentage in the NFL, and, which we take a lot of pride in. Again, goes back to our details, but the players that when they go out there and they do that on the defensive side of the ball, that's easier said than done, and just really proud of them. They've been able to tackle well while also taking the football away. It's something we emphasize an awful lot. We've always done a good job of emphasizing the offense. I think this year we've taken another step and really emphasized it even more so this year as a defense. Um, every team meeting, we're looking at the ball security, any mistake that's made in the ball security. Every team meeting, we're looking at good strip attempts or missed strip attempt opportunities. Um, and this year, Pat Nolan, the video guy, got me every peanut punch that he forced a fumble with his entire career. We watched that with his coaches, and then we showed that to the players as well. But so we emphasize the crap out of it because we know it's such a telling stat in this game. Our guys have done a nice job protecting it. Our defensive guys have done a nice job taking it away, as well as our special teams guys. You saw Will get one, in the game as well. We drilled the heck out of it, but you got to have talented players to be able to do both. Because it is a skill to be able to tackle and take the ball away. And I think the other thing it shows is the effort to the football. We have our second man in with Zach Bond. Coop had him tied up, and Zach was able to come in and get a hit on the ball on Sunday. So just that shows you relentless effort by our guys get to the football. And we talk a lot of good things happen when you get to the ball, whether that be Sack going and cleaning it up on Sunday, whether that be Grant Calcaterra being there behind the football. Dallas people against Washington on that Thursday night. And it's just you got guys that are in great shape to be like you can't be relentless effort unless you're in great shape. So it's just another notch to these guys of how good they have their bodies in shape, and the strength staff and the training staff just getting those guys in shape, and the guys themselves just being relentless.
We'll go to Dave and Martin.
And with how often you talk about facing adversity, what do you think you showed your team with dealing, how you dealt with your adversity coming into this season?
Yeah, everything that it's like asking them to do something, I better be pretty darn good at it. Whether that's detail, whether that's mental toughness. They don't need to see me physically tough. I don't need to be that anymore. But mental toughness, whether that's connecting those three pillars of our, our culture, those things like crazy. And so hopefully I provide a good example for them in moments like that. I also hope that I provide a good example to them of blocking out the things that you can't control and outside noise. there's always going to be outside noise. And so, again, just try to be an example and lead by example. Like words are, you know, culture words. Culture is not words that are up on your wall or, you know, a t-shirt that you wear. It's not what it is. It's your habits. If I want these habits, then I better have them myself, and our coaches better have them. And I guess I just try to live that.
A little more, and then Bob.
Hey, Nick, you guys have like 8 new starters on defense compared to the team that took the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Hey, what does that say about, the job you guys did drafting and bringing in guys? And also like, considering that, I assume it's tough to stay, among the team, the elite teams in the league to be back in the Super Bowl with such a big turnover.
I think there is, fortunately, fortunate, or whatever you want to look at it, there's a lot of turnover in this league, right? There's no team that's the same, year in, year out. There's free agency, guys retire. There's just so many different things that play into it. There's salary cap, all those different things that play into it is that, that's what is special about each individual team. It's like you're starting the journey again. You have principles in place and all those different things, but you're starting the journey over and over again. And we do have team members that have been here for the last 3 years. I've said how many times, I can't tell you how many times I've said how good a job Howie's done and getting these guys in here. And then it's about, building the team, building the habits, and the guys continuing to get better. I think that's what you've seen, and that's, with 8 new starters on defense, really good defense in 2022, really good defense here in 2024. Yeah, so much credit to how you get staff and then the guys themselves who are going out there and playing their butts off.
Guys might have had one of the greatest bye weeks ever this year, consider what you did afterwards. I think you said a few years ago, your first year, you asked Nick, Andy, about how to handle bye weeks. What advice did you get then? You're 7-1 by now, he's 32-6. What advice did you get from him then? And how is the bye week, Super Bowl bye week, different than maybe the regular season bye week?
I used to always want to keep my conversations with other coaches, players, privately, but always so appreciative of any coach who's willing to help in scenarios and situations. I'm always so appreciative. And there's so many of these coaches have so much good knowledge to be able to share. Just hopefully I can forward to other coaches that ask me questions that I can help them with at some point. As far as the differences between bye week here and bye week, in the middle of the season, I think the one major difference, Bob, is that in the season you might not have practice that week, right? The guys will be off; they have to have a certain amount of time off this week. So this a little different because you're going into a week next week. That's a little unusual, right? Some of the things. So you got to get a lot of the game plan done. You got to get the practice against the stuff, but you also want to get guys rested and healthy and ready to go. So there are definitely differences. One of my rules of it to just about what the following week looks like. So it's handled a little bit differently.
To Olivia.
Hey Nick, we talked to Cam in the locker room after the game. He said that he expects that he'll be great for the Super Bowl. We didn't get to talk to Landon. Between his just general toughness and the fact that you've got 2 weeks here to get ready for the Super Bowl, how confident are you that he will be good to go?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I know that these guys, how tough these guys are. Do everything they can. How hard they work, and all these guys are playing through, bumps and bruises right now, and I just see their relentless work and their relentless effort to get themselves in as best shape as they possibly can with their bodies to be ready to go. So time will tell. We'll see as that goes, but I know that these guys are doing everything they can do. I can't tell you how much I respect what they go through and what they put their bodies through to play this game that we love. I just got so much respect for that. And just I mean, toughness is a characteristic that I value so much in life and in football. We got a tough team, and these guys, the guys are asking about their toughest heading, and so you go a long way with that, with toughness.
Blue to Tim, Bo.
And then I wanted to ask you about Jalen's straitjacket comment after the game here. Just kind of your interpretation of that, and then also how much of what you're asking him to do, the way you're asking him to play the game this year is factoring into the fact that he wasn't the most prolific season break.
I think he was having fun after the game. We've been winning it a couple different ways this year. I think he was having fun after the game. But I know this. He said this plenty of times. I don't care how we win. I don't care how we win. As long as we win, we'll do everything we can do to be able to win. And as we've talked a lot, like there are different circumstances of how games have went and where we've been at in late in games, and we found the way to win, rattle off 15 out of 16. And so I thought he was having fun with that after the game. Just loved how he went out and executed and prepared for this game. I always admire that. You guys have asked me about that. I always admire that guy. How hard he works regardless of the situation. Same guy every day. His mentality, his work ethic. And, we had to win a different way this game, and we did. We showed that we could win multiple ways. I think that shows the type of team we have and the type of selflessness we have on the team. Starting with Jalen.
We have time for two more, so we'll go to Bo. Zach.
Hey, Don, let's go with a specific turnover question. They said on the broadcast that you emphasize that when guys are coming up from the ground, that's a good time to try to get the ball out. How that came to be when that became a particular focus.
Yeah, that's been a particular focus. I think you go back. You go back to 2020. One in our Buffalo game, Indy versus Buffalo in the playoffs, and Zach was getting up with the football, and he might have ripped that as he was getting up. The ball tends to be, there's moments that the ball is at risk. I don't want to get into everything that we teach there. I won't get into everything that we teach there when that ball's at risk. One of the moments where the ball's at risk is you getting up off the ground. Because one ball and vice versa, another time the ball's at risk when you're going to the ground, right? Because naturally your body as you get up tends to loosen up on that, and when you're going down, the same thing as you tend to brace. So those are things that we drill, trying to create. Jamal Singleton has done an unbelievable job of finding creative ways to drill those two things, and so we drill the heck out of them. Just like the other ball security stuff, we also the guy misses a strip opportunity in the moment in practice where he's getting up and we don't take that advantage of. We talked about it. Also had the 2022 game against Washington with Bryce Watkins. He caught a post from Jalen. He was getting up off the ground and ball was at risk. And I think 25 are still playing over there, knocked the ball out. So again, sometimes you don't have a wide, and if it happens during the league in the game during the league year, we'll show that as well. And so that's not one that's real common because it doesn't happen a ton. But sure excited when it happens. I think Lauren, to be able to mentally think about that in the game that Warren did, the way Warren did, is pretty incredible. That he's got responsibilities. He reacts. He sees Eckler going to the ground. He's going there. Eckler gets up and he's like, "Oh shoot!" And those are things that you can't do in the spur of the moment unless those are your habits. Like that's why the habits part is so critical. It's like we can talk about it, unless you're practicing that, unless you're emphasizing that, and after you practice it, then they don't. It's not a part of who you are because you just there's split second situations where these things happen. So yeah, I guess you just, sometimes our best coaching points and our best things that we think about happen to because of something that negative got. And those are both situations. Now in the Buffalo Indy game, they called Zach down, and I think we might have got away with one. Quez definitely was a fumble, and it turned that a little bit. And so sometimes your scars of the things you went through will help you become better. And I think that's just another way of our team embracing adversity and trying to get better from each individual thing that we go through.
We'll end with Zach here.
Hey, good afternoon, Dick. What's the plan for this week as far as how much will you guys be on the field? Will all the game planning be in before you go to New Orleans? How are you having logistical meetings? Kind of all the stuff that happens during the bye week.
Yeah, we have a plan. We're still sorting through some other things. So, still, I mean, a big chunk of it is ready to go. So won't share everything with you guys, but we'll practice. We'll be on the field. We'll be installing things to give you a percentage or a time. Still some of that stuff's up in the air, but you gotta get a good portion of it done because the schedule, like I was saying to I believe Bob, the schedule's a little different this week. And there's some different things that you got to handle next week, and you might not have all day Tuesday meeting, or all day Monday meeting because of the night that you would normally have as coaches. So we'll get percentages with you, but you got to get a lot this week, and refine it, and make sure everything's on point.
Thanks for the time, Coach.
Joe, get ready for a shakedown. Get ready for a shakedown. Ready cut like unfunny breakdown. Get ready for a shakedown. Underdogs, you saw my shakedown. Get ready for a shakedown. QB got sweat. My wife is a board winning. This might was smart. Joe getting 5 people like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a coach you can sing back. It's smart. Don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown. Yo, I do it. But here, welcome to the Philly Shakedown Podcast. Special podcast. You were looking at the 2024 NFC Champions. My man Joey, what is up, man?
I'm feeling good right now. I mean, we got through probably one of the easiest games that we got through. We dominated. We did what we had to do. We didn't talk about it, obviously, but we're here, man. This is it.
Okay, so the Eagles are obviously going back to the Super Bowl, but in addition to that, they also just got a big development that, if it continues to progress, could change things significantly for the Birds in the future, and it's not exactly good news. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts has shocked the NFL world once again, and he might have just had his best performance as an Eagle, while he also made history several times. Plus, there's also one area that Hurts has excelled at that nobody is talking about. So, why is it about time that people finally start showing QB1 some respect? And also, what's the latest on a potential Brandon Graham return in the Super Bowl? What did Chiefs head coach Andy Reid have to say about Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, and the Eagles offense ahead of the Birds and Chiefs Super Bowl rematch? Well, we're going to talk about that and all the other latest news starting right now. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Philly Fans 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan, and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm still feeling so freaking good, man. It's as crazy as it is. The Birds are back in the Super Bowl, and for the second time in 3 years at that, which is just unreal. We cannot take this for granted, man, because most fan bases just don't get to routinely experience this much level of success in such a short amount of time. I mean, I had my introduction to watching the Eagles in 2013 when I was 9 years old, and since I became a fan, this is now the third Super Bowl that I'm going to get to watch my team play. So I definitely feel like I've been spoiled as a fan, and I'm not going to take this for granted. Because again, what the Eagles are doing right now is just so special. And perhaps the craziest part about it is this team could really just be getting started, because when you look at their roster, they're chock full of young talent. So assuming we can find ways to keep everybody together, which, by the way, we already have a ton of these guys on long-term contracts, then I feel like there's a solid chance that we can continue to watch this team do special things for years to come. But obviously, that's down the line. And right now, we just got to enjoy what this team has accomplished this year with this special group of players. It's safe to say the guys themselves are enjoying it because the vibes after that NFC Championship win and in that post-game locker room were just so high. And same goes for on the field. So there's no doubt that the guys were having fun while laying the smackdown in Washington. My Lotto literally laughing during Barkley's touchdown run is crazy to say the least, but I think it's freaking hilarious. And again, it's just so nice to see the guys having fun out there. And hey, when you're winning, you got a guy like Saquon Barkley on your team who routinely does things like that. And it's no surprise that they're having fun. Speaking of which, Saquon's birthday is coming up on February 9th, and what better way to celebrate than by playing his first ever Super Bowl? As of course, that falls on the very same day that Barkley turns 28 years old. So hopefully, he gets the gifts of both the Super Bowl ring and also the NFL's all-time single-season rushing yards record, including playoffs, as he's just 30 yards away from passing Terrell Davis's mark. So it certainly seems like he's going to get the record on his birthday, and he couldn't deserve it anymore. Plus, Barkley also shares a birthday with the rookie Cooper DeJean, so hopefully both these guys can celebrate with a Super Bowl victory. What's super interesting is that if you add Barkley and Coop's numbers together, you get 59. So for them to be playing in Super Bowl 59 on their birthdays is pretty crazy and also kind of meant to be. And I also feel like it's meant to be that the Eagles will be facing none other than the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty in this one. As of course, 2 years ago, it was this same Chiefs team that ruined the first Super Bowl dream. So now this is going to be their opportunity to get some revenge. And honestly, this time around, I feel like the Eagles are better than they were in that first matchup. I mean, just look at the guys they got on paper, for example, in comparison to that 2022 team, going from Jonathan Gannon as defensive coordinator to Vic Fangio, Miles Sanders to Saquon Barkley, James Bradbury to Quinn Mitchell, and TJ Edwards to Zach Bond, just to name a few of the upgrades. And then also, just think about how they've played this year and as of late. Like, this Eagles defense is the best that I've ever seen in my time watching, and is capable of shutting down any offense. And then on the other side of the ball, while this Eagles offense has had its struggles at times, we just saw how good they are at their best as they dropped a 55 piece for the Commanders to get to the Super Bowl. And when they're clicking like they were in that game, it's hard to imagine anybody stopping them, especially since they have a guy like Saquon Barkley, who, according to Chiefs head coach Andy Reid, is possibly one of the best of all time.
They got good tight. They got good tight ends. They got good receivers. I mean, real good receivers, and they got a running back that arguably is one of the best in the history of the game. So it's and their offensive line for all those guys to work. Their offensive line has to be good too. So and the quarterback is dialing it up right now. So whatever injuries he had earlier in the season, I mean, he's playing like crazy right now. So that's a heck of an offense. Another huge challenge for us.
It's nice to hear Coach Reid give Barkley and the Birds offense credit like that. And he's right, because again, when this Eagles offense with all those extremely talented players is firing on all cylinders, then it's really hard to imagine anybody slowing them down. And Barkley adds an element to the Birds offense that Casey just didn't have to deal with the last time these teams met in the big game. So I feel like that's going to make a big difference in this one. And then, of course, they also have to face Jalen Hurts, who, when the last time these teams met in the Super Bowl, had a downright historic performance. And in fact, it was one of the best performances by a quarterback in Super Bowl history. I mean, like Chiefs star defensive tackle Chris Jones said, he balled out. And Patrick Mahomes seemed to know that the day would come where him and Jalen would meet on this stage once again.
The way that he works, I think he get better every year. Playing in a lot of big games as my career goes on.
So that's certainly some high praise from one of the greatest QBs of all time. And then the person Mahomes will face off once again. Hopefully, Jalen can have another incredible performance and come out with the win this time. But now, real quick, I want to take a minute to talk about the sponsor of today's video, MyBookie. The conference championships are officially over, and with Super Bowl 59 between the Eagles and Chiefs on the way, MyBookie allows you to get in on all the action. As whether you want to bet on the straight outcome of the game, the spread, the point total, or the over/under on player stats, along with a variety of other things, MyBookie really does have something for everybody. Plus, you can take advantage of their risk-free Thursdays as utilizing this offer. If you place a bet that doesn't hit, then they'll refund you your deposit up to a certain amount. In addition, MyBookie also offers a variety of games on their online casino that you can win big with. Plus, they offer a variety of other unique opportunities as well. And if you sign up today using my promo code PhillyFan, you'll receive an extra 50% bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000, along with a $10 casino chip. But most importantly, guys, please, please, please gamble responsibly. And if you do have a gambling problem, then please seek help and call 1-800-GAMBLER. And again, thank you to MyBookie for sponsoring today's video. Now, while Jalen Hurts may have had a historic performance back in Super Bowl 57, his best performance of his career may have actually came on Sunday in the NFC Championship win over Washington, as not only did his basic stats of 20 for 28 for 246 yards and 4 total touchdowns to no turnovers look great, but he also ended up being the highest graded player by PFF on Conference Championship weekend. And just watching his film and the way he played in this game, I mean, he was truly fantastic. He was clearly playing in rhythm. He was getting the ball out of time. He was very accurate on his throws. He was in complete control. In crucial moments, whenever he needed to come through with a big play, he was able to do that. I mean, it was truly just a masterful performance by Jalen Hurts to help the Eagles get back to the Super Bowl. And that's not even mentioning the historical significance of what Hurts just did. As not only did he break the 30-year-long streak of QBs not getting back to the Super Bowl after losing their first appearance, but he also is now just one of 8 QBs in NFL history to reach 2 Super Bowls in the first 5 years of his career, and one of 5 to do it before the age of 27. And the company that he's got on those lists is pretty incredible, as it's full of Hall of Famers. So, I mean, it's about time that Jalen starts getting the respect that he deserves, because what he's done in his career is just so, so special. Yeah, he gets criticized more than anybody, so it's about time that he starts getting credit for what he's done and the insane trajectory that he's on. Plus, something else that Hurts deserves credit for is the role that he plays in the offensive success at the line of scrimmage. And that's something that Eagles Hall of Fame linebacker Seth Joyner dove into on WIP Radio.
But a lot of people don't give Jalen Hurts a lot of credit for. You keep hearing, oh, he can't read defense, he can't do that. What people don't realize is that 85% of the success that the Eagles have on the offensive side of the ball is done at the line of scrimmage by Jalen Hurts while he's checking.
Every single play.
Probably every single play. But when you have an eye to watch the game and you're watching the little small details of the game, and I'm watching him at the line of scrimmage, you know, when Saquon Barkley, last week before he rips off the 78-yarders, having that conversation, he's asking Jalen, am I lined up right? Yeah. What are we doing here? Okay. And people are not giving him enough credit, because trust me, if it was Josh Allen, it was Patrick Mahomes, oh, he's such a great field general. Why don't we give this guy his due? Because I'm telling you right now, if you really watch the game in depth, a lot of what they do is at the line of scrimmage, and guess who's making the check?
I think Jordan makes a fantastic point. Like, people say the Birds can't read a defense, but how many times have we heard this season that a big play for the Birds was the result of a check made by Hurts the line? Like, it's happened just so many times, yet he gets no credit for it. Like Jordan said, it goes beyond just the big plays, as he's really been just a great field general all season long. So credit to Jalen for that. And this is again just another reason why people need to start putting respect on QB1's name, because what he has done is just unprecedented and super special. But going back to his performance the other day, somebody else who deserves some credit for that is offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, because he was in his bag during the NFC Championship game, and as opposed to the previous 2 games, his play calls were a lot more creative, and they yielded much better results from the Eagles offense. I mean, just look at a lot of these play calls. Like, the route concepts and combinations seem to be better than they were in the past. There's a lot more misdirection type of stuff going on that successfully fooled the defense. They were also getting Jalen Hurts on the move more, and specifically rolling him out to his right a good bit, which worked very nicely. And we even saw some jet sweep plays that worked very well. And the Eagles offense obviously ended up putting up 55 points, which was a record. So again, I think Kellen Moore put together a great game plan and called a fantastic game in the NFC Championship, possibly his best of the season. Hopefully, Moore can put together another fantastic game plan for the Super Bowl. Speaking of Moore, though, we just got some huge news on him that could change things significantly for the Birds in the future, as it was recently reported that the New Orleans Saints traveled to Philly and conducted an in-person head coaching interview with Moore on Monday night. making that now the second time that New Orleans has met with Kellen for the first time they talked in person. So this is huge because it shows that the Eagles OC is a very strong candidate to land the Saints head coaching job, along with a couple of other guys who have also met with the team multiple times. And if more were to become the next head coach of the Saints, then obviously the Eagles have to find yet another offensive coordinator and play caller, which would suck for many reasons, including the fact that Jalen Hurts then has to learn yet another offense, and he would have his 11th play caller in 10 seasons. And also, Kellen Moore has just been a really good offensive coordinator for this team this year. And I feel like with what we just saw in the NFC Championship, we're finally starting to see how good this offense can be at its best. So I feel like with one more year with all these guys in that same system, we can see this offense take it to the next level. But that obviously won't happen if Moore goes to New Orleans. So I'm definitely selfishly hoping that Moore does get the job, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And we'll also have to wait and see what happens in regards to a Brandon Graham Super Bowl return, as he gave this update on WIP Radio.
What do you think, man? You know what I do? I scroll right past that question right there. Don't even tell me. We are in a position right now. All right, so it sounds like, tell me if any of this is wrong. There's a real chance you could play, but you need to test it out and kind of see where things are. Is it fair to say you don't currently know if you will play, that it could go either way? Is that a fair way to put it? That's a fair way to put it. That's all it is. So I'm just, just being patient, seeing what's really going on. But I know for me, man, regardless, I'm excited just to be going ahead, up the guys, man. Whatever my role is in this game.
Okay, so he said it there, no decision has been made yet, but I'm still going to take this as a positive because it definitely does seem like there is a real shot that he could return for the Super Bowl, which is just crazy. But you guys can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you think BG actually could return and play in the Super Bowl? And also, while you're at it, make sure you guys subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any other Eagles coverage just like this leading up to the Super Bowl and also moving forward after that. And also, make sure you drop a like to show some support because it really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to 600 likes on this video. And also, if you are interested, check out my bookie and sign up using my promo code. There's a link down in the description. And also, if you want another Eagles video going over their NFC Championship win over Washington, you can check this out right here. Now, with all that being said, that's all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
When you think of the history of the Philadelphia Eagles, the first thing that should come to mind is defense. Whether it's all-time great players like Brian Dawkins coming out of the tunnel to hype up the crowd before a big game, or him lowering the boom on the other team's best player, or maybe Reggie White's dominance off the edge while winning Defensive Player of the Year in 1987 by getting 21 sacks in only 12 games played. As the Philadelphia Eagles franchise holds several prominent NFL defensive records throughout their almost 100-year history, including being the only team in NFL history to win back-to-back championships by shutout. When they beat the Chicago Cardinals in 1948 by a score of 7-0, then beating the Los Angeles Rams 14-0 the following year in 1949. The Eagles also hold several league sack records, including having the most sacks in an NFL game with 14 against the division rival New York Giants in 1952, and the most sacks in NFL history since NFL officially started recording sacks as an official statistic in 1982, with 1,903 at the time of this recording, almost 70 sacks ahead of the closest competition of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And in 2022, they also challenged for the single season record of 72 sacks, set by the all-time great defense of the 1985 Bears. And although they fell short ending with 70 sacks, they became the first and only team in NFL history to have 4 players on one team reach double-digit sacks in a season. The best defensive team achievement, though, belongs to the 1991 Philadelphia Eagles defense, as that was the only defense in NFL history to see pass defense, number one in run defense, and number one in total defense. And they did it by a wide margin, only allowing a ridiculously low total of 221 yards per game, which is the
fewest yards allowed by any NFL team in a 16 or 17 game season. It was also almost 25 yards less than the closest team to the New Orleans Saints. And while the NFL has changed a lot since the 90s from a run-first league or pass-first league due to rule changes, the Philadelphia Eagles defense has it, as they once again led the entire NFL in yards allowed per game of 278 in 2024. Their closest competition was only 30 yards away. This team has a long way to go before they can be compared to the 91 Eagles defense, considering they are literally the youngest defense in the entire NFL by average age of their starting players. And they're doing a lot of this while relying on two rookie cornerbacks in their secondary. It will be interesting to see what this group can become when these younger players become fully adapted veterans in the NFL. As it wasn't too long ago, that this was one of the worst defenses in all of football, as early as last season. As a combination of aging veteran players and bad coaching saw this team plummet and dramatically after a strong 2022 season saw the defense carry them over to the Super Bowl. As the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles saw their defense completely fall apart, finishing 26th in total yards allowed, as well as third worst in points allowed. I think one more NFL record to the Eagles defensive record for most historic turnaround in NFL history, as the 2024 Eagles became the first and only team ever to have defense rated 22nd or lower in the season, only to finish with the number one ranked defense the following year. So in today's video, we're going to take a deep dive into this historic turnaround to see how the Eagles went from the worst defense in the NFL to the best in just one season.
I got better as the season wore on.
To fully appreciate the 2024 Eagles defensive season, we first have to understand just how bad the 2023 defense truly was.
Oh, look at that.
The defense was so bad by the end of the season, they couldn't even do simple things like tackle.
Practice and tackling every day is based off angles. When you see the angles of these guys and the way they approach tackling, it's crazy. Like nobody plays together. Put them in a cup. If you put them guys in a cup, you're not going to see big plays like this. But everybody's playing individual football, and that's insane to me, man.
Going into training camp, the Eagles fans in front office were expecting another strong year. I mean, just come off an almost historic season and saw the Eagles threaten the all-time single-season sack record for a team, while also becoming the only team in NFL history with 4 players on one team who produced double-digit sacks. With Hassan Reddick leading the team with 16, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, and Jalen Barkley all getting 11 apiece, and future Hall of Famer Fletcher Cox adding 7 as well. The Eagles also had one of the best secondaries in the league that year with 6-time Pro Bowl cornerback Lear Slay on one side of the field and an all-pro cornerback in 2022 and James Bradbury on the other, who was infamously called for a controversial holding in the 5 minutes of the Super Bowl that ultimately cost them the championship to end their season.
If you let him play, finish the stay out. I love that call.
In the following offseason, the Eagles front office had a lot of players on expiring contracts and not enough money to retain them all.
Winners keep winning, and all I do is rise. There's no boundaries, I'm breaking the chains. Every loss is a lesson, every ball brings a gain. I'm built for this, my spirit is tough. When the road gets hard, I still rise up. Do is rise, no matter what. Got greatness on my mind, I'm never giving up. And every time I step up in the game, I level up. Everybody's hands go up, and they stay down. Cause all I do is rise. And if you're with me, put your hands to the sky. Don't rise with me. We're destined to win. Every new day is where we begin. It's not over till the victory's mine. And all I do is rise every single time. Winners keep winning, and all I do is rise. There's no boundaries, I'm breaking the chains. Every loss is a lesson, every fall brings a gain. I'm built for this, my spirit is tough. When the road gets hard, I still rise. Do is rise, no matter what. Got greatness on my mind, never giving up. And every time I step up in the game, I love. Everybody's hands go up, and they stay there. Down, cause all I do is rise, rise, rise. And if you're with me, put your hands to the sky. So rise with me, we're destined to win. Every new day is where we begin. It's not over till the victory's mine. And all I do is rise, every single time. I do is rise, rise. And if you're with me, put your hands to the sky. Don't rise with me. We're destined to win. Every new day is where we begin. It's not over till the victory's mine. And all I do is rise every single time. Winners keep winning, and all I do is rise. No limits, no boundaries, I'm breaking the chains. Every loss is a lesson, every fall brings a gain. I'm built for this, my spirit is tough. When the road gets hard, I still rise. All I do is rise, no matter what. Got greatness on my mind, I'm never giving up. And every time I step up in the game, I level up. Everybody's hands go up, and they stay down. Cause all I do is rise, rise. And if you're with me, put your hands to the sky. Don't rise with me. We're destined to win. Every new day is where we begin. It's not over till the victory's mine. And all I do is rise every single time. Winners keep winning, and all I do is rise. No limits, no boundaries, I'm breaking the chains. Every loss is a lesson. Hey guys, today we're excited to announce another major firmware update for the Rodecaster Pro 2 and Rodecaster Duo, which introduces a massive new feature. Virtual devices. This is a game-changing addition to the Rodecaster series, making the world's most powerful all-in-one production consoles even more powerful, especially for streamers. We know this is a feature that a lot of you have been waiting for, so thank you so much for being patient. And as always, thank you for your feedback on what features you want from your Rodecaster. The update is available right now through the Rodecaster beta testing program, so if you're keen to give the new feature a try, hit the link in the description to sign up. In this video, I'll show you how to set up virtual devices on your Rodecaster. But first, what are virtual devices? When you're listening to your computer's audio, you'll be hearing a stereo mix that contains sound from all your software at once. As an example, let's look at a mix that includes Spotify, Google Chrome, Discord, and a game. Most of this software will either have its own volume control, or in the case of a web browser, rely on volume controls on the pages you have opened, such as YouTube. If you're streaming, adjusting levels for each piece of software to get the perfect mix for you and your audience can be a real hassle, or even sometimes impossible.
However, with virtual devices, you can treat each piece of software as if it were a microphone connected to your Rodecaster and assign it its own fader. This gives you hands-on volume control over individual pieces of software in a single, centralized location, the Rodecaster. Not only that, but it also gives you the ability to apply processing, create custom routing, and record each software's audio separately. Virtual devices are super helpful for when you're streaming or gaming. For streamers, having all of your volume control in one place makes it super simple to balance and readjust your mix on the fly. You can also combine the Rodecaster's virtual devices and custom routing abilities to send entirely different mixes to your stream and to your headphones. For instance, you may want the game audio to be louder in your headphones compared to what the audience hears. Or you may want the music to be quieter. You can also use virtual devices alongside Rodecaster's multi-track recording to mix and process your audio differently to how it sounded on stream. If you listen to copyrighted music on your stream but still want to edit and upload a video of your stream later, this feature is crucial for avoiding DMCA notices. Now we've taken a look at what virtual devices are and what they can be used for, let's walk you through how to set them up with your Rodecaster. First, connect your Rodecaster to your computer via USB 1. Now make sure you're running the latest Rodecaster firmware. This can be downloaded directly via Ethernet or Wi-Fi, or with the latest version of Rode Central. Then you'll need to install the virtual device driver via the links in the description. This tool is required for your computer to separate the audio outputs and communicate them to your Rodecaster. Finally, in order to activate these additional virtual devices on your Rodecaster, navigate to Settings, Outputs, Multi-Track, and USB 1 input, and tap Expanded, and then hit Apply. You can exit this expanded mode at any time from the same menu. And that's it. You're ready to use virtual devices with your Rodecaster. Now let's take a look at how to assign a virtual device to one of your Rodecaster's faders. On this Rodecaster, I have my microphone assigned to our first channel, but I want to get a few different programs onto other channels here. First, press the button above an empty fader, or tap on the plus sign here to bring up the channel input selection screen. You can now see the 4 new virtual devices: Game, Music, A, or B. All 4 of these virtual devices behave exactly the same, but we've named them that way to help you organize your setup. Alongside the new virtual devices, you'll notice we still have USB 1 main and USB 1 chat. We'd recommend using main for system sounds like alerts and notifications, and using chat for software like Discord, TeamSpeak, and so on. Now for our example, let's get our game audio onto this fader. Simply select game and press the green tick. Now that's done, we just need to assign our software. In this case, the audio from our game to this virtual device on our computer. You might notice that since assigning the game virtual device to a fader, it's showing up in your sound outputs menu as Game Rodecaster. This is because the virtual device driver has been designed to present only the virtual devices that are actually active on your Rodecaster. Now we just need to make sure our game is open and running, and then find the volume mixer menu under the advanced section of our system sound settings. The screen will show all your open software, each with its own volume fader, input and output. Now we find our game amongst the apps on this list. Click the output device drop-down, and then select Game Rodecaster. Just remember that this menu only displays apps that are open and running. With this done, the audio from our game is now being individual.
For as powerful as the Rodecaster Pro 2 and the Rodecaster Duo are, I've never been able to recommend them to streamers because they're missing an absolutely key, absolutely core feature that streamers need until today. Okay, well, until like 2 months ago. I'm a little slow to get this video out. Rode dropped a massive update for these devices that added virtual channels, meaning now you can separate your audio sources into Game and Music and Discord. So like every other streaming audio device out there, you can control each one individually, something that is an absolute core necessity for a streaming device. So now that I can actually recommend this thing, do I recommend it? Or is the $500 and $700 price tag still just making it not worth it? Let's talk about it. If you want to know how I did that intro graphic, by the way, I've been taking a couple classes on Skillshare on how to use Blender, and more specifically, their 2D animation tool called Grease Pencil. Skillshare, by the way, is the sponsor of this video, and it is the best way to learn and explore that new thing you've been wanting to learn for a long time. You've just never really known how to learn it, never really gotten around to it, you know? Skillshare is the largest online learning community led by pros across industries like film, animation, illustration, productivity, writing, anything. And the learning paths are hand-picked classes meant to be taken in order, making it a super simple structure to follow. No more spending time figuring out what to learn and what to watch next. So far, I've done Blender classes with Smeef, After Effects classes with Jake Bartlett, YouTube creation with NKBHD, and currently this Grease Pencil class with Guy Georgie. And as a free gift, the first 500 people who use my link will get a free month trial of Skillshare, which, for being honest here, is more than enough time to make significant progress on that thing. So if you're ready to finally start learning that thing, now might be your chance. Click my link below and sign up. First things first, if you actually have one of these, let me show you how to activate it. If you don't, I'll put the timestamps in the little play scrubber thing right there, so you can just skip this section if you don't need this. But you're going to need to do 3 quick things. You're going to need to update software on your computer, update software on your Rodecaster, and then actually activate the new feature. You can download the drivers for the PC at the link in the description down below. To update your Rodecaster, just make sure you have the most current version of Rode Central, and then in there you can update your firmware on your Rodecaster. Lastly, the thing you'll need to do is go into Settings, go into Outputs, go into Multi-Track, go into USB 1 input and make sure you switch it to expanded. And now if you try to assign a track on your Rodecaster, you'll see all these extra inputs here, when before there was only 2. You have your main USB, which is kind of like system on other streaming devices. You have your chat, which is for Discord. Then you have your gaming channel, your music channel, and 2 other virtual channels for anything you might need, titled A and B. So if I want to assign this fader here to channel A, I just tap on channel A, hit the check mark, and now channel A. Right here. And then the rest works like any other device. You're going to go into sound settings, scroll down, more sound settings. You're going to set Rodecaster System as your default device, and the Rodecaster Pro Chat as your default communication device. And then you're set. And then if I want to bring some stream beats in on the music channel, I just go to the volume mixer setting. I would grab Spotify and make sure that's coming through Music Rodecaster. And now you can see on my Rodecaster here, the fader that I've set to music there controls the volume of my music. And look at that. You got some smooth, copyright-free lo-fi for your streams for free. Link to Stream Beats down below. So it's great that these powerful devices can finally do this, but none of this is new and exciting. In fact, they finally just added the features to this device that the Go XLR invented like 6 years ago. So is there anything actually new and exciting about this? Well, yes. Yes, there is. One of the most useful things the Rodecaster can do that very few of the other ones can is multi-track recording. So if you want to have a nice, simple, on-the-fly mix for Twitch, but then maybe you want to reuse that for a YouTube video or a TikTok later, and you want to be able to adjust audio, maybe remove your teammate voices or remove the music, you can do that. And you can do a lot of that. So let me show you that. And then I want to get into my final thoughts of this entire device. So if you're not interested in multi-track recording, again, playhead down below, skip this section, but I really want to show this to you. Near the same setting that we went to earlier in outputs and multi-track, we adjusted USB input to be expanded. But if you go into USB output and you choose either pre-fader or post-fader, you'll notice that when you go into OBS and you go into your audio settings, if you grab a mic input, you have every single input on this thing that you can create a separate track with. So if I want to have microphone 1 and microphone 2 as their own tracks, completely separate from everything else, I would grab combo 1 and combo 2 as other mic auxiliary audio channels. You can see I'm actually doing combo 1 right now. That way I have the full mix as one track and then my mic soloed out as another track, recording to separate tracks. And if you want any of the virtual channels separately, like music, maybe you want to be able to remove that later, that's going to be in your desktop audio devices. And you can see I can go to music, Rodecaster right here. You can see the music is coming through in that audio channel I just made. It's not coming through in my mic, but if I turn it up, graphic, by the way, I've been taking a couple classes on Skillshare on how to go and sign up. First things first, if you actually have one of these, let me show you how to activate it. If you don't, I'll put the timestamps in the little play scrubber thing right there, so you can just skip this section if you don't need this. But you're going to need to do 3 quick things. You're going to need to update software on your computer, update software on your